welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be my birthday haul, and I really don't have a lot here to show you, but I figured I would share with you some of the stuff I did get for my birthday. So my birthday was last Monday on Labor Day, and it wasn't too exciting. I had a wedding that weekend, so I was actually with my parents and my family on my actual birthday, which was nice. My sister came to their house as well, and we went out to breakfast. And then we actually stopped at Ulta as a whole family, and then I spent the rest of the day in the car driving to where I live now. So it wasn't super exciting, but I did do some other things in the days leading up to my birthday to celebrate a little bit. But yeah, so let's just get right into it. The first gift I got was actually about a month before my birthday when my parents were in town visiting. My mom asked me if there was anything I needed or wanted. We were out shopping, and I've really been wanting a watch since I started my internship. I usually just use my phone to know what time it is, but I'm not really carrying that around when I'm at work, especially when I'm like in patient appointments or things like that, and there's not always a clock that I can see. It's really handy to have a watch, I found. So we went to the mall, and I was really particular about the kind of watch I wanted. I really don't like the ones that kind of slide up and down your wrist. I find that really annoying. So I don't really like the ones that have metal chains on them. And then I also don't like anything that has any sort of like diamond-like sparkles. And I also found that I really wasn't liking the black straps either, which I was a little surprised by. But I finally found something that worked for me, and that was this watch from Kate Spade. So hopefully you can see the leather strap is kind of a light taupey gray, browny gray, and it kind of just goes with everything, and I really like it. And I like how simple the face is, and it just matches everything, and I really love this. So I thought I would share. I don't know what it's called, but I'll try to find it and link it down below if you're interested. But yeah, this is, my mom picked it up for me when she was in town, and it was the biggest part of my birthday gift, so I thought I would just share it even though it's not beauty related. So like I mentioned, on my birthday we went to Ulta because I wanted to redeem my birthday gift. So my whole family went, and everyone ended up picking up a bunch of stuff. I got the least amount of stuff, and it was my birthday. But luckily my entire family used my account, and I got over 300 points because I got 2 times points for my birthday month plus, you know, the platinum extra bonus points. So that was really awesome. So my mom offered to pick me up a few things, and the first thing we got was this ultra enriched nail polish remover. And my mom was in town, like I mentioned, when she bought me that watch. She had bought a lot of Nail Envy nail polish. I think I mentioned this in my I'm Gonna Know By update. So she needed some nail polish remover because I stayed at the hotel with them, and I didn't bring any with me, so she needed some, so I picked this out for her just randomly. I'd never used it before, and then when I was at their house this past weekend, I needed some, so I tried it, and I realized how crappy the one I usually use is. I usually use the purple one from Up and Up from Target, and you know, I have to like put it on my nail, kind of hold it there for several seconds, and then kind of scrub a little bit. But this took like less than 1 second to get my entire nail off, so I was amazed, and my mom offered to buy me some, so I was really excited to get this. And I'm never going back to that Target nail polish remover because it really just sucks, and I never realized how bad it was. So the next thing I picked up was part of Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty promotional event. So every day there's a different item that they have a really great deal on. So on my birthday, it was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, and it was $11 instead of its usual price, which I believe is $22. So my mom got me this as well. I have a little mini sample I got in my Birchbox, and I've really been loving it, and it's lasted me a really long time. Normally I just get the e.l.f. one that I think is $2, but I go through it pretty quickly. Like, I go through it in a whole month, I think. So I have to buy it pretty often. So I'm really impressed with how long the little sample of this has lasted me. I think I opened it in May or possibly June, but it's still going strong, and that's several months. So I decided to pick up a full size. I'm sure this will last me a really long time. And I do notice a quality difference between this and the e.l.f. one. I don't think I would normally ever spend $20-something on a brow gel, but since it was on sale and I really do like it, I figured now's the time. But, you know, once I use this one up, I'll probably try a different drugstore brand other than e.l.f., but I'm happy to have this in the time being. And then I got my birthday gift, which was a sample of the Urban Decay Perversion Mascara. And as you probably know, if you've watched any of my other videos, I mention this a lot because I really enjoy it. So I'm really happy to have another sample size of it. I thought this year the gift was a Ulta eyeshadow, and I heard it was really bad, so I don't know if they changed it or if, I don't know how Ulta really does their birthday gifts, but I really am happy to have this instead of the eyeshadow because I just really, really love it. And then I also ended up placing an Ulta.com order. And I wasn't really planning on this, but they were doing another really great sale item on my birthday only. It was online only for Platinum members, and all Urban Decay eyeshadows were 50% off. So they were $9.50 instead of the $19. And they had this promotion earlier in the year as well, and I picked up a couple eyeshadows. And I've kind of had a running list of eyeshadows I want to pick up in the future, and I was kind of waiting for this kind of sale to happen again. So I decided it was time to kind of celebrate my birthday. I would redeem some of my Ulta points. And I know in my last I'm Gonna Know By update I mentioned that I was going to wait until the end of the year, or until next year I mean. And I still have a lot that I'm going to wait until next year to redeem. But I decided, you know, this opportunity was a good chance to get a bunch of stuff at a very low price. And it was my birthday as well, so I decided to treat myself a little bit. So first of all, I ended up getting this Build Your Own palette from Urban Decay. I've been eyeing this for a while. I just think it's really pretty. Purple and green are two of my favorite colors, and you can pop out any Urban Decay eyeshadows and put them in here, and I thought this would be a great thing to travel with. So I did get this. And then I picked up 3 Urban Decay singles. Earlier this year when the Urban Decay singles were on sale, I ended up getting Pistol and Mushroom. And Pistol is in the Naked 2 palette, which I used to own, but I had the Naked and the Naked 2 and a bunch of other palettes, and I wasn't really reaching for them all, so I decided to sell my Naked 2. But one of my favorite shades in that palette was Pistol, which is why I picked it up earlier this year. And then when I realized how much I loved Pistol, I kind of realized I actually do like cooler shades on my lids more than I thought I did, and I kind of regretted selling the palette. But I've looked at the palette several times since then and pictures of all the shades online, and just after painting the Lorac Pro, I realized there's a lot of shades in there that I don't love, so maybe it would be more beneficial to just get singles of the ones I do love. So I ended up getting a couple shades from that palette that I really love to kind of stop me from wanting to rebuy the Naked 2. So the first one I got was Tease. This is just a matte cool brown, and I just really love this in the crease. And I like to wear this with Foxy from that palette as well, which is really similar to Cream and Buff from the Lorac Pro and Lorac Pro 2. So I didn't end up getting that one. It is one I do want to get someday, but I have a lot of shades similar to that. So I decided to just get Tease for now. And then the other shade from that palette I always really loved is Suspect. And that is Suspect right there. And that is it underneath Tease. And I'm wearing that today. I really like it. And yeah, I'm really happy with the choices I made. And then I picked up one other shade that isn't in any palette that I know of, at least. It's the shade Blunt. This is what it looks like. It kind of reminds me of Light Bronze from the Lorac Pro, which is my favorite shade. Well, Light Bronze and Pewter are my favorite shades from that palette. And this kind of reminds me of Light Bronze, which will be finished, you know, by the end of the year. So I was kind of tempted to pick this up, and I also really like it. I did swatch all of these next to all the shadows I have with me, or the ones that are similar, and I don't have any that are dupes. I do have some that are similar, so in some respects, you know, I really didn't need to pick these up, but all of this stuff, I believe the total originally was like $38, but I redeemed I think 500 or 600 of my Ulta points, and I ended up paying only $3.16 for everything. So since it was basically free, I don't really feel that guilty, and I got the blessing of a bunch of you guys on Instagram to break my no-buy, because y'all said it didn't count since it was my birthday. So I'm not really, I don't really feel bad about this purchase because it wasn't really impulsive. I mean, I wasn't planning on doing it, but the sale came up and it was something I've been thinking about doing the next time a sale did come up. All these shades were on my wish list. Blunt wasn't on my wish list, but I did, you know, look up a bunch of swatches on Tim Talley's website before we went to Ulta, and then I swatched a bunch once we were there, and then made my decisions and ordered them when I got home. So I did put a lot of thought into the shades I got, and did some research, and, you know, I'm fine with kind of impulsive purchases if there's a sale, if it's stuff I already did want to purchase. So I really love Urban Decay eyeshadows, and I'm happy to have some more singles in my collection. And I really don't have that many eyeshadow singles in my collection at all. I probably had 5 before this purchase, so now I have around 8, so I'm totally fine with that number, and I have no regrets about this. So I did get some samples with my order. There was a promotion going on where if you purchased a certain amount of Urban Decay, you get 2 samples. So I got this teeny tiny sample of Perversion, which is super cute. Just for reference, here's the other one I got. And then I also got just a card sampler of their concealer, which I actually have been curious about, so I'm excited to give this a try. And then I also got a Smashbox primer. I feel like every time I order from Ulta, I get this as a sample. A body cream, and a night cream with retinol. And then yesterday I finally went to the Sephora where I live now. I haven't been there yet, even though I've lived here for 2 months, which is pretty good for me, not going to Sephora for that long. And I picked up my birthday gift, which you've probably seen, which is the NARS little set. I got Rikugian, Cruella, and an eyeliner. So I have Rikugian already, and I'm panning it in one of my other projects, and then I don't have Cruella, so I'm really excited to have that one. I do have Dragon Girl, which I really love, but Cruella is a little darker and deeper. So here's some swatches in case you haven't seen these. Rikugian is on the top, Cruella is underneath, and then I did Dragon Girl just to compare. So Dragon Girl is kind of pinker and lighter. I feel like Dragon Girl is a really good summery red, and then Cruella is more of a fall winter red. So I'm really excited to have that in my collection as well, because I really do like these lip pencils. And then while I was at Sephora, I had a Sephora gift card. I wasn't sure how much was left on it, so I decided to use it up, and I have this nail polish. My friend, who I mentioned in my other video, who is really into nail polish, this is the one she picked up that kind of inspired me to make that other nail polish purchase last month, and I've really been coveting it. Her nails always look so good when she's wearing this. It's called Genius, and it probably looks black right now, but it's described as a deep chocolate brown, and on your nails it actually does look black, but it looks like so much richer and more interesting than like dark matter or a plain black nail polish, and it's just really pretty. I feel like it's a little bit of a classier kind of black nail polish, if that makes any sense. I really don't think it's brown at all. It looks a little brown in the bottle, but on your nails it ends up being really dark and black. So I'm really excited to have this because I've been eyeing her nails ever since she bought it, and I just really wanted it. So this was $10.50, but with my gift card I only ended up spending about $3. Alright, so that is everything I got for my birthday. Like I said, not a ton beauty-wise, but I'm excited for all the new things I have. And thank you guys so much for watching, so I will see you soon.